add one more step to this. So we're going to be working with systems of linear inequalities. So all that means is we're going to be graphing two of these. Okay? Okay. So again, just a refresher from what we were doing last time. Last time we got an equation like this. We got 3x plus 3y is greater than or equal to 6. We'll use that as a refresher equation. So let's graph that real fast. So if we're going to graph 3x plus 3y is greater than or equal to 6, do you remember from last time what we're going to do here? So we're going to cover up the 3y. I'm going to graph by intercepts just because that's how I like to graph. Okay, we could easily solve for y and have a slope and a y-intercept, but I find I make sign mistakes and division mistakes all the time with that. So if I cover up the 3y, 3x is equal to 6, so that means it crosses the x-axis at 2. If I cover up the 3x, that means I have 3y equals 6, so that means that y equals 2. So we're going to graph a line between those 2 points. Now, if you remember from last time, I would graph solid lines and dashed lines. Do you remember when we did solid and when we did dashed? Is this one going to be dashed or solid? This one is going to be solid because we have that equal to sign underneath it. So my boundary is included. And so we're going to draw that line. Okay? And we're going to shade the true half plane. So now we've got to figure out where that true half plane is. Remember how we found out where the true half plane was? What do you got? Well, 0, 0 is the point we typically pick because that's going to be the easy one. If the line goes through 0, 0, we're going to have to pick a different point. But we're going to have 0 plus 0 is 0 greater than 6. 0 is not greater than 6, so that means I am going to shade the other one because that's the true half plane. So that's what we did last time. Okay? Today, this time, we're going to add one more thing to it. I'm going to change my color to blue, and we're going to do a blue equation. We're going to go with 2x minus y is less than, we'll go with 4. And again, I made them easy to graph by intercepts because that's what I like to do. However, this one I'm going to solve for y. Just because I just want to remind us that we have to pay attention to our signs. If I was to put this in slope-intercept form, I would subtract the 2x over and subtract the 2x over, and I'd end up with negative y is less than negative 2x plus 4. And then what happens? I don't want this negative y, so we're going to divide that negative 1 out. So that's not too bad. We're going to divide everything by negative 1, and I get y. I get a 2x minus 4. But here's why I did this. I wanted to remind ourselves, if I divide by a negative, what has to happen to my inequality? We have to change that inequality, so this is going to change to a greater than. Okay, so just remember that happens. Okay, so if I were to graph that line, I'm going to start at negative 4. From negative 4, where are we going to go? Up 2 and over 1. Very good. I don't think this is working for you. I mean, just a personal experience. How can you pay attention to me and that at the same time? I just don't think it's going to work. Can we turn that off for a bit and see if we can try? I'm not going to talk at you very long. We're going to go up 2 and over 1. I'm going to go up 2 and I'm going to go over 1 again. So I'm going to draw this line. So when I draw this line, is that going to be solid or dashed? This one's going to be dashed. Okay, now I'm going to shade. Again, 0, 0 is an easy point to pick. So if I put, and I'll go back to the original. 0 minus 0, is 0 less than 4? Yes, 0 is less than 4. So that means here that is going to be, the true half plane is going to be this direction. So it's just another example. However, this is what's different about today. Today is going to be a system of equations. And a system of inequalities. So in a system of inequalities, we are going to have an area that's going to be my solution in the end. Okay, meaning where did we shade both? What area got shaded both times? The red and do we know what red and blue make? Purple. That's right. I was thinking green. Yellow and blue make green. So here, where's purple at? There's purple. So yellow and blue, red and blue make purple. So this is my region for a solution because it made both of them true. So just like when we solve a system of equations, we're trying to find a point that makes both of them true. Now we're going to find an area that makes both of them true. And all of these are going to solve by graphing. Okay? So this all solves by graphing. So if we look at the example they gave us, again, we had this three. Actually, it's hard to tell. I actually don't even know what equation. Well, it shows what equations they're graphing, but it's where they overlap. So this is the overlap between the two, because I shaded below this line and I shaded above the gray line. That is where they intersected at. So here we go. We'll just come down here and do our extra practice. So number one, tell whether each ordered pair is a solution for the system. So how am I going to tell if something is a solution or not? We're going to plop it in there and see if it's true. So in the first equation, what are we going to do there? We have, my pen would work. My y value is 0. Is that greater than 2? No, it is not. So therefore, this is no. And that's all I had to do. I only had to do the one equation because I had a false statement. Okay? I could test the other one if I want. Is 0 less than 0 minus 2? Is that true? That is true, but it's irrelevant because the other one was false. Okay, let's try the other one. My y value is 1. Is that less than 3? True. My y value is 1. Is that greater than my x value of negative 1 minus 4? Is that a true statement? Is 1 greater than negative 5? True. So that means that yes is my answer. All right. I want you to try to do number 3. Okay. Number 3, we didn't have to go very far. Again, we know that the x value, unless I substitute, no, I did okay. My x value is 2. My y value is 3. So we're going to end up with a statement as 3 is greater than 2 plus 4. And we end up with 3 is greater than 6. Is that true or false? That is false. So therefore, I did not even need to substitute into equation number 2. Okay, because it was irrelevant. It didn't meet for one, it doesn't meet for the other one. All right, let's try 4 then. So for inequality number 1, hopefully you got a true statement because 4 is equal to 4, so that worked out. So that means because we're true on the first one, we're going to go to the second one. And now we have to ask ourselves, is 4 greater than -3? It is. So therefore, since we got 2 check marks, my answer is yes. Okay, only 4 problems to do here. Again, these are short and sweet and simple things to do. All right, so I am going to, this is going to be a tougher one. 5. Let's do 5. If we graph the first one, we end up with y is greater than -2. So there's only one variable there. So that means it only crosses one axis. Which axis does it cross? It crosses the y-axis. Where does it cross the y-axis at? -2. All right, solid or dashed? Okay. Now, here's where it gets a little bit different. I have my strategies here, but I'm just trying to make it a little simpler for you. Let's go ahead and graph the other one. All right, we'll come back and shade later. Okay. So what's my other one? Now, see, the other one's a little bit tougher because this one's already in slope-intercept form. I have 2 variables, y and x, so it's going to cross both axes. Okay. This one's already, since the y is solved for, it's already in slope-intercept form. So where is this graph going to start at? There's nothing back there. All right. So that means we're going to start at 0. Where are we going to go from 0? My slope is 3. So we're going to go up 3 and over 1. We could also go down 3 and left 1. We're going to draw a solid line or a dashed line? Solid.
Oh, wait, no.
Okay. So now this becomes a little bit tricky as far as how you want to do. I mean, no, it's not tricky. It is just how messy you want to make your paper. Okay. I don't like to make mine very messy, so I try to come up with something else. So let's I'll talk our way through this one. So we're going to shade, it says y is greater than -2. So we're going to shade, is 0 greater than -2?
No.
0 is greater than -2, right? So that means if I was shading, okay, I'm going to erase this because I don't like to make it all messy. I would be shading here, okay? But I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little mark here. There's area 1, and here's area 2. So I know it's going to be one of those 2 areas, okay? It is shading above the line. However, it's going to be one of these 2 because they're either going to be over here as far as regards to the solid line, okay? Now, on the other one, it says y is less than. I can't use 0 because 0 falls on my line. So I have to pick some other point. So let's pick 2, 0. So x is 2 and y is 0. So we're going to test. Exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. X is 2, y is 0. Is 0 less than or equal to 6? Yes, it is, okay? So this point right here is true. So that means that my solution, again, I'm going to erase this, this would be that shaded area there. And this was the shaded area previously. So what area is going to be my solution area? is going to be 2 over here. I just don't like to make my graph that messy. Okay, so if I back up both of those because I can, I know that it was going to be 1 or 2. It ended up being this area, so that means I can just shade this area and know that that is my solution area. Okay, but if you want to go ahead and, I know sometimes you'll make, we can make vertical slashes for one, horizontal slashes for the other, and it's where those intersect at, that would be fine too, okay? I'm just not, that messiness I don't like to do, okay? All right, let's try 6. Actually, why don't you try 6 on your own first? See what happens with it. It'll take forever.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Both of these are, we got horizontal and vertical lines because there's only one variable involved on each line. So one's going to be horizontal, the other one's going to be vertical. And again, this is just figuring out what you want to do. Hopefully you got the horizontal line drawn in there. I want to shade all values that are less than 3. So I mean, sometimes vertical lines are horizontally easier. Is 0 less than 3? It is, so that means I'm going to shade this side. So I'm going to try this a different way. I am just going to do vertical lines, okay? I can do it in different colors, so I am. So now let's graph the other one. X is less than 2, so where's 2 at? So this is going to be tough again because I drew a line right on 2. So there's my blue line. I want to shade all the X values that are less than 2. So that means that 0 is less than 2, so I would be shading this area here. And again, you need to identify to me what area is going to be my solutions. So that means that this area right in here is going to be my solution area. Okay? Okay. 7, let's see what it's 7. Both of those are in slope-intercept form for you. So let's see if we can get those plotted and get those graphed. We got a y-intercept and a slope to follow. No work to really do. It's just sitting there waiting for me to plot it. So my first line starts at -2 because it's got a -2. From -2, my slope is 1. So remember, we're going to go up 1 and over 1. We're going to go up 1 and over 1, up 1 and over 1. And just keep following that pattern. So I am going to draw then a solid or dashed line. Okay, so there's graph number 1. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you my way of doing this. As far as I'm going to shade the y-axis above the line that I just drew. So if I look at this, here's my y-axis. I am going to shade the y-axis above the line that I drew. So I know I'm going to shade out here. This is where I'm going to shade. Okay. If we're testing points, which is probably the way you guys probably should do it, if we test 0, 0, is 0 greater than -2? And 0 is greater than -2, so I would be shading above, which I knew already. So, but again, I'm going to leave that alone for a second. Again, it's whatever you're going to do to make yourself comfortable. Okay, so I know I'm going to shade above that. And again, I can't lightly do anything with this. I mean, if I had a pencil and paper, I could, shade it lightly above it. That would be fine. I'm going to grade the other one, graph the other one. Where do we start at? I'm going to change my color. We're going to go with pink, hot pink. It starts at 2. We're going to go from 2. It's going to go down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Solid or dash when I draw it through there. You're answering all the right questions. I hope you can do it on your own. All right. So I know from my previous shading, I said that I was going to graph above the line. So I know it either has to be area 1 or area 2. That's where it has to be. Because I said I was going to shade above this purple line because 0, 0 gave me a true statement. So now I have to figure out, is this going to be area 1 or area 2 for the overall answer? And we're going to test a point. So remember, this is off the pink line. We can't hardly see it as pink, but it is a different color. Okay? 0 is less than 0 plus 2. So that would be 0 is less than 2. Is 0 less than 2? Yes, 0 is less than 2. So that means here I'll change it to a highlighter. We'll change it to an orange highlighter. Maybe that'll be easier. That means that area 1 here is the overall answer. So that means that this is the shaded region that is the solution for both. Okay? And that's the only thing I have to test. And I just prefer that just because it kind of helps me organize and keep it neater. Okay? All right. I keep telling you I'm going to make you graph these on your own. And then I keep jumping in right away. I would tell us on this one, remember, if we're doing this one, I would probably add the 1 over. So I'm graphing y is greater than or equal to -2x plus 1. So I'm actually going to put my pen down, so I can't do it this time. There you go. I want to see everybody have a graph of this. Before I throw it up there on the board, I want to see everybody have a graph of it. Some of you are got a good start on it. I appreciate it. This one sets up for both styles really easily. Again, intercept-wise, if you have grasped the intercept method, the first one grasped marvelously by intercept. The second one I talked about already. We put it in slope and y-intercept. It's a better shot for it.
Okay, and probably help me out. Hold on.
Yes. Mr. Engineer. Oh, okay, this is just mentioned.
Do we just like this? Do like this?
Okay, so only every shade was less than
Everything less than 2. Everything greater less than 3. This one. So you shade both ways. Go down here, shade all the way down. 1 or 2. Now, back to your answer. What's your start?
You're down to -2, and then we just decrease it like this. Now we draw solid or dash line?
Solid or dash? Solid.
Oh, because it's greater than.
Two.
Well, we started at one. Down to. There
Okay. So this one is greater than -2. So this is everything above that line.
you go. And
The other one is below.
So
So where I started from, the y-axis, where I started, maybe across it. That's your answer. And there you go.
then you see it, so they to y, and from that point, we go down to y equals -2/3
And now draw a line that is
x solid plus 3. There's 97. Plus 2. One, 2, 3.
So that means that 0, 0 is not happening. So I'm shading is on here whenever I got shade blue shade now. So your choice is you're gonna solve for A, so if you solve for Y, or you're gonna use your numbers. So that one is just whatever you find easy.
So
Okay.
alright, so
Okay, so
y is greater than or equal to -2x plus 1.
where there's negative 2/3.
Alright, this is gonna be much. That is, how can you do this?
Right there. So one I'm gonna start on. Okay, right, we're gonna start at one to graph. I have to start with one. So I'm gonna start there, and I start there. Here, very good. About there. And I'm gonna use the slope. The slope is -2. So from that dot that you just made, we're gonna go. And here you go down to. Yeah, no, you're right. Do it again if you want to. I can go on the side of that. This side.
Alrighty. Now I've got to go back and reshare my screen. Okay. All right, so let's. I think most everybody's got this first one graphed. So let's again. We started at 1 From 1, we went down 2 and over 1. We could go down 2 and over 1 again. We could go up 2 and left 1. That also works, but in all of that, we're going to make a solid line. So that's what my first line should look like. And if I wanted to, and again, so we could test that point. We could put 0 in there. 0 is greater than 2 times 0 plus 1, so that ends up being 0 is greater than or equal to 1. Is 0 greater than 1? It is not. So that means when I get to shading, I know I'm going to shade up here. Okay, but I'm just going to note that for right now. Now we're going to get this line graphed. Now again, having both tools in the toolbox, I think is really good. Some of you solve that for y, which is just fine. If you're a slope and a y-intercept person, keep doing it. I am going to say that 2x equals 6, so that means that x equals 3. I'm going to say that 3y equals 6, so that means that y has to equal 2. So I'm just using their intercept. So I know it's going to cross the x-axis at 3. Since 2x is equal to 6, that means it crosses the x-axis at 3. I was going to use a different color. It crosses the y-axis at 2. And if I want more points, I can look at this. I can go 1, 2, 3 over, 1, 2 up, 1, 2, 3 over, 1, 2. I mean, you can actually do stuff backwards. It's okay once we start understanding what we're doing, but this is a solid or a dashed line. So hopefully your second line you got there. Now, I said previously what we wanted to go and put in our memory banks is I wanted to shade above this pink line that I drew. So I know it's going to be here 1 or it's going to be here 2. It's going to be one of those 2 sections is going to be my overall answer. If I tested the other one and so now I'm testing the blue line. So I am testing that here. 1 is above the blue line, 2 is below the blue line. It's going to be one of those 2 sections. So we're going to test 0, 0 again. 0, this goes to 0, this goes to 0. Is 0 less than 6? Yes, 0 is less than 6. So that means that 2 is on the winning side. So that means that if I go in here and shade, I know that my overall answer is going to be here in section 2. So hopefully we shaded that little sliver there. Dylan, we staying up with things? Okay. All right. So again, we're going to just plenty of time again today. Let's jump out and look at our puzzle time. Are you getting a beverage or getting a drink? All right. Okay, puzzle times. I don't have that. I never made a PDF copy of it, so I'll probably